Hi guys, Jaybo785 coming to you today with a new game called Super Mechs off of newgrounds.com. Now I started off playing this game just because I saw my buddy playing it and it looked kind of fun, and really it has quite a bit behind it for just being a little bit of a flash game. There's player versus player, player versus campaign, and so on and so forth, and you can add people. The only thing that it doesn't really have is a trading system, which is kind of good because it keeps people from abusing it too much. Well, let's go ahead and get started and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Now, you can sign on as a guest so you don't have to create an account, and if you're kind of interested in it, that's a good way to start off. But for those of you that are going to try to play this game and feel like joining me, here's my player ID right here, 7490137. Just send me an invite and I'll add you when I get on, okay? So, you can do one of two things, player versus computer or player versus player. Now, when you first sign on, it's going to give you 24-hour XP and cash logon bonus. And it's one of those things I recommend you try playing as a guest, and if you do like it, make sure that you got a really long period of time to go ahead and just grind your way through it, because that extra cash is very important. You can customize your mech as you go through. You hit the shopping little list here. You can see as you level up, you'll unlock new items. There are rare items which will be outlined in purple, okay? And it will say rare item up there in the top, and they cost a lot more than their predecessor, as you can see. There tends to be two different types of mechs for the most part. There's ones that are fire, or there's ones that are electric. And depending on the type of weapon that you go for, it's going to either consume electric power, or it's going to give you heat. And of course, as you overheat, then it's going to shut down your mech. You have many different types of weapons. You have short-range weapons, as you can see, it's 2 to 3 there. Or you have long-range weapons, or 3 to 5. And of course, they each have their cost benefits, you know. Typically, short-range weapons usually have a special effect of some sort. They can drain your opponent's energy, or they can give them a lot of heat. Or they can just do a lot of damage. There's something called knockback, which I'll show you later as we go ahead and start to play. Where the range weapons, some of them are super expensive that have really good benefits. Some of the mechs can actually use top weapons too, which act a lot like the side weapons. They're simply just in the top slots. So as you can see here, I have 2 top slots on this mech and 2 bottom slots. And it's kind of neat too that you can actually see your mech change. You'll have a little special item here. I have 2 different ones. I have the blueberry, which does electrical damage, as you can see, and it costs 12 energy per use. Or I have the flip mix, which causes fire damage. So if your opponent's a pure and they have little resistance to heat, I could use the flip mix and whoop their ass as compared to the blueberry. But the blueberry does a lot more damage. You also have energy shield, which is very important. You can either choose to be a heat one or an electric one, and this one absorbs 30% max damage. Teleport, which is very useful if you're going in for close range or if your opponent backs you all the way back. As you can see, this one uses 13 energy, but it also causes damage. Charge, which basically is a running volt into your opponent, so that helps close the gap. Causes heat damage to them and heat damage to me. And of course, Claw, which I have to be at a certain range, 2 to 6, and that draws them towards me, and that causes heat damage as well. The thing that I really like about this mech that I have set up, which there are stronger mechs, is that it has 5 slots that I can equip basically modulators to, as you can see, modules. I have the one set up for damage resistance, energy, since that's kind of what I run off of, as well as kind of trying to sort things out to make my mech less of a pure, so that I have rockets for my little rocket launcher there, heat resistance, because this is going to cause my mech to heat up, and also that causes my mech from being a pure, so that they can't just max out my heat meter, and then force me to basically just lock myself out of the game. And then kind of a combo of both heat and energy there at the bottom. So just quickly taking a look at the heat, you can see that you actually have HP plus 1, you have ones that use bullets, ones that are electrical resistance, so that you can basically modulate your mech as much as you really want it to. I tend to go for long range, but I also try to close the gap as much as I can. Of course, I am running low on money, so that is an issue that most players will run into. And you can actually use these one-use items, which are called kits. So If you're losing a battle and you just need a little bit of a boost, you could use a one-use Master Kit Repair Kit here, which boosts you up 105 HP points, or if you run out of bullets and so on and so forth. Now, really where that comes into play is if you're trying to beat the campaign mode, it gets stupid hard unless you just grind and lose, grind and lose, grind and lose. Or if you're trying to become one of the top players, you're going to have to use 3 of the kits. And as you can see, this mech here can use 3 different kits. So, when you're really shopping around, what's the first thing that you want to buy? I would say that the torso overall is the most important item that you can buy, okay? So you're going to start off with a free one here. And as you can see, that can only use one side weapon. Starts off with 20 HP, so on and so forth. Or eventually, if you hit level 61, you can get HAL. That's 4 side weapons, 2 top weapons, 3 kit, and 6 module slots. But as you can see, even though that this one has 55 heat, this one actually has 60 heat. Yes, it has a lot more HP, but every one is going to be a little bit different. And so, you know, for instance, my guy here, which is the dragon, has 5 slots, where the gecko has only 4 slots. But it uses 3 weapons and 2 weapons, or I'm just 2 and 2. So is that module slot worth the trade-off? Well, yes and no. So, let's go ahead and start off with a battle against the computer. Don't be surprised if I get my ass kicked here, guys. Usually, when you start off, sometimes you're going to get to choose a bonus. I can choose plus 20 to my energy, 20 to my rockets, or 10% to damage. We're going to go ahead and go for damage this time, okay? Now, you got specials. Usually a really good idea is to activate your drone and activate your shield from the very beginning. So the shield's going to make you take less damage, but that's also going to drain 40 of your energy powers there. And then activate drone, which is of course going to do more damage in turn to them. So, we're going to start off with Zippy here. As you can see, that starts to drain their energy as well as their hit points. And then I could use the rocket launcher, but I might go ahead and save that for later. I think instead, I'm going to activate my drone, which pretty much is essentially an additional attack every turn. So that 70 damage, of course, is from not turning on my shield. As you can see now, it's adding to his heat since he put on his heat shield, but still continuing to add to his HP meter. It's just a lot less. And of course, the little bastard used a repair kit. So, I'm going to go ahead and do this. Give him a little bit more damage there. And I think it's time for me to turn on my shield. One bad thing, guys, as you can see, I can't use 3 out of the 4 of my weapons because I'm too close. The only one that I can actually use is the short-range weapon. That does 39 to 78 damage, but in the same sense, I kind of limit myself on the amount that I can use. So by taking one tiny step back, which unfortunately does use up a turn, I can then go ahead and choose to use the zapper, or I can choose to use my XR. And as you can see right there, that one hit that he did to me that knocked me back, that's what I'll get for one of my bonus weapons. So this has a knockback feature, as you'll see, and I ended up beating him. So guys, that's essentially all there is to Super Mechs. It's a very fun, very addictive game. You know, you can fight your friends or your opponents. Basically, you just click on one of them. And they're somewhere around here where you can choose to fight one of them. But give it a shot, guys. If you like it, be sure to add me there. I'll go ahead and fight you. You'll probably end up kicking my butt, but it's a lot of fun. So this is Jaybo785 signing off.